Hey guys, it's Swordfish. So we'll be playing this modern Merfolk deck in a Modern League. So I talked about the deck list earlier in my first video, which is right over here, and today we'll be playing against blue-white control. So this game was actually pretty interesting, and I would suggest making it to the end, because it was definitely a well-earned battle. So with that said, let's get into the video. Alright, so we won the die roll. Oh, this hand's small. I gotta make that a little bit bigger. Alright, so this hand, I think it's keepable. It's not that great, but we still have decent card draw with Spreading Seas. Swingloon's a good threat. This hand's definitely fine. We'll just flash in Trickster on their end step unless they play Ravagon, which we'd play before combat. Okay, Misty Rain's Forest. Oh, and they're passing. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see. Ottawara. Okay, so we're just gonna pass the turn and hold up Merfolk Trickster, see what's going on. Alright, so they're cracking on our end step, that's fine. Rogren Triumph. Okay, so this is a Jeskai deck. Or at least what I know is Jeskai. Mystic Gate. Okay, so this is probably control. Alright, so we're gonna flash in Trickster on end step and see if he counters it or not. Alright, okay. Does Trickster resolve? Okay, so Merfolk Trickster resolves. That's good. Okay. I feel like our opponent has a counterspell, so we should not go for Swayloon. Yeah, I think... What do we do here? I mean, are we gonna... No, we're not gonna walk into a counterspell. Let's just play Spreading Seas and see what our opponent does. Does the Spreading Seas resolve? Because I think they definitely have a counterspell. Okay, so Spreading Seas resolves. Let's see what we draw here. Alright, Waterlogged Grove. That's okay, because we can just cantrip it. So let's cast Tide Shaper now. He's gonna function as a beater, so... Not an early beater, but he's going to function as a beater. Alright, so... Then we'll just attempt to swing for 2 and see what happens. So what would be backbreaking is if they had, Solitude and Ephemerate right now. I don't know if Blue Controlists are running Ephemerate, though. So I don't think they are, yeah. So they're probably... So they're playing Solitude fairly, I would assume. Alright, well, Ephemerate's not unfair, it's just, like, not how I believe they originally intended it to be played, Solitude. Alright, let's see, is this Teferi? Oh, Prismatic? You're gonna Prismatic ending a Merfolk Trickster. Alright, I'm fine with that, so I'm kinda glad I didn't play Swayloon out there. Because she would have gone, well, we probably wouldn't have the red source, so we draw to, Silvergill Adapt. Let's just play Waterlogged Grove. Yeah, Waterlogged Grove. We'll cast Silvergill Adapt and reveal Swayloon. Alright, so then we'll activate Mutavault. Wait, yeah, Mutavault doesn't have Stunning Sickness, so we'll activate Mutavault. And then we'll just swing for 4. I want to at least... Swayloon, if you untap with Swayloon, she will dominate the game, and I feel like protecting her is necessary. Now, it's debatable to play Swayloon now when they wouldn't really have the counter magic for it, since they're not running Mystical Dispute main deck. But it's definitely a thought. So they have the Steam Vents now, so they could play Prismatic Ending for 3 to kill our Swayloon. So let's see what they do. They could have Teferi, Time Raveler. But they, if they would have Teferi, they probably would have bounced, like, Trickster or Tide Shaper, rather, so. Alright, so they have another land. They could have Supreme Verdict here. That would be really annoying, but it wouldn't be game-ending, because as I said, we still have Swayloon. Well, Swayloon would have Indestructible. Oh, wait, it wouldn't have Indestructible here, because we attacked with Mutavault and we'd be tapped out. Is this Supreme Verdict? I don't think it would be a very smart Supreme Verdict. I would wait for the board to develop a little bit more, considering I have 4 cards in hand. But if they do have Supreme Verdict, that would set us back a little. And what do I know? They could have another Supreme Verdict, but we'll see what they have. So Controlists are also running the Wandering Emperor, which I want to keep in mind, but I feel like if I try playing around that, it won't really get me anywhere. Okay, so they actually did have Teferi Time around Floor. So they're probably gonna bounce Tide Shaper because they don't want me to get the card advantage off a Silver Gill Adept. Yeah, okay. So we have to kill Teferi because if we let him stick around, yeah, that's not gonna... If we let Teferi stick around, that is not gonna be good for us. And we're not really in that good of a race to get down our opponent's life total. We're not that close yet, so killing Teferi is definitely better for us in the long run. So I think, even though they could have Solitude, it's just best to attack Teferi and see what happens. Although Teferi is annoying, it's not the worst to deal with. I mean, if they have a Solitude, they're 2-for-1ing themselves to keep a Teferi, which I don't think is right. Okay, so I guess we'll just try to cast another Tide Shaper. Man, knowing that our opponent probably or might have a Supreme Verdict definitely changes how we play this one. So let's actually cast Tide Shaper as a 1-drop. And then we'll play Swayloon, so if they have Supreme Verdict, we can make our Mutavault a 2/2. Okay, so let's imagine that, like, somehow one of our creatures die, right? So what we could do, and then they follow with Supreme Verdict, so it's not that unlikely. They have Prismatic Ending, they'll, like, exile Tide Shaper, and then they'll play... Oh, if they have Prismatic Ending, they can't target Tide Shaper because of the ward one. But no, this basically means even if we lose a creature, we'll be able to guarantee Swayloon indestructible by activating our Mutavault, making it a little tapped creature. Okay, so they're playing Solitude, so they're gonna exile our Swayloon here. Yeah, okay. So there's nothing we can do about that. I tried to hold on to my Swayloon, but it was just a really good opportunity to cast her. So, yeah. We still have a decent clock going on, and if we really need to do stuff, we can sack the Waterlogged Grove. We have, what, a 2-turn clock if our opponent doesn't do anything? That's not bad at all. Let's see, are they going to hardcast a Solitude? Big Teferi, maybe? Hardcasting a Solitude wouldn't be the worst thing here. It's not ideal, but it wouldn't be the worst. Chalice of the Void on 2. Okay. Well, that's going to be a little bit difficult to deal with, but we can do that. I could bounce with Thought of War if I desperately need to cast something. Alright, Force of Negation is always good to have. Okay, so... let's see. If I draw a 2-drop, and then I get to a point where I have a lot of mana, I could play Thought of War to get that 2-drop to resolve, but... right now, I don't think we're gonna get to that point anytime soon, and we can return artifacts. Okay, so that's okay for us. Alright, we're gonna draw a card since it's not the ideal use of Classical Mimic, but that option is always there, and getting the Enter the Battlefield effect isn't the worst, you know? We get to draw a card. So we definitely just want to get a good clock in right now, I guess, so... or we could hold up Force Negation. Ooh, Force Negation or Mutavault activation. We could get in for 6, right? Or we could hold up Force Negation. So if we get in for 4 right now, then we can swing for 8. So 4 plus 8 is... 12, right? Yeah. So if we're just assuming our opponent doesn't do anything, and we get to hold up Force Negation, then we can just swing for 4, and then swing for lethal next turn, holding up Force Negation. I think that's the plan. Alright, so that was definitely a decision-heavy turn, but I think holding up Force Negation is pretty good here, because we can't even pitch anything. And Supreme Verdict this would be a really good time for Supreme Verdict, because I have a feeling that the fact that our opponent let all these things resolve, that they're going to have something like Supreme Verdict. Oh, they're passing. Okay, maybe they have Solitude that they can... oh, we got Subtlety. Okay, alright, I like this. I like this a lot. So if I activate Mutavault, we even have 4 mana open, which means we can then place, this is perfect. So we just activate Mutavault, swing with the creatures, they'll probably hardcast a Solitude or some means of interaction, and that means of interaction we could probably hold up Subtlety for. So I think this is pretty good right now. Right? Is there anything our opponent could have? I don't think so. Right? I don't know. It's possible, but I think this is a good line. So we're going to activate Mutavault, hold up Subtlety, and attack with everything. I think this is a good line. So let's just see what our opponent has. I think Solitude is their best bet right now of what they could have. So I think this is a good play. Alright, I think they're going for it. I think they're going for the Solitude. The Subtlety is amazing. Alright, come on. Come on, Solitude. Oh, the Wandering Emperor. Oh, crap. Do we force negate that, or do we use Subtlety? Ah. I think we force negate it because we don't want that to come back. And even if they have Supreme Verge, we don't even want to get wiped out further. Do we? But man, it's force negate. Let's just force negate it. I like that idea. What happens, happens. I can't hold up Subtlety anymore, but let's just see. Oh, we win the game. Alright, moving on to game 2. That was pretty fun. So for sideboarding, I added in 2 Spell Pierces because they're just great versus any of Control's Planeswalkers or removal spells. I added in 2 Cures because I just want to see how they are against the deck. They are targeting so many of our stuff with Planeswalkers, and they're also use instants and sorceries and a lot of other things, Solitude, just a lot of targeted effects. So I think Cure is actually pretty good. I trimmed 2 Force Negations since I actually don't like the idea of 2 for wetting myself to counter a spell or deal with a Planeswalker, and since I'm adding in Spell Pierces, the amount of counter magic will still be equal. I also trimmed 2 Spreading Seas, so they do run a lot of creature lands, that is true. But the thing is, by the time they can activate the creature lands and it becomes relevant, you're probably already dead. If you can't apply pressure quickly enough or stabilize a board quickly enough to the point where they can activate their creature lands and start concerning you with that amount of damage, it's not good. And other than that scenario, Spreading Seas is not good at all. So I actually trimmed 2 copies. Okay, so this time we'll be on the draw, and this hand, I think it's pretty keepable. I mean, it's not keepable, but we have in Tideshaper to act as early aggression. We have Kira just as a way. I wanted to see how she is bringing in, so I think Kira's going to be pretty good. Because of the Solitude prismatic ending, I feel like there's more targeted stuff now. And Suiloon, having duplicates of her in this matchup, I feel is good just because. Oh, we drew a Spell Pierce. Okay, Spell Pierce is pretty good, honestly. Just as a way to counter removal spell, counter spell. So yeah, we got a nice early aggressive start. So let's see if we can get a turn 2 play here. Alright, they're playing Celestial Colonnade tapped and passing. So that makes me feel like they drew that Celestial Colonnade because they should have led that out turn 1. But let's just see what happens here. So I want to attack with Tideshaper. We didn't draw anything to play on turn 2, but that's okay. We're playing against a slower deck, so even though I want to be fast and aggressive, I'm okay taking a slower, grindier match. Yeah, but I definitely feel like they just top deck the Celestial Colonnade. So, Teferi here, maybe? I think this is worth Spell Piercing. We're not going to do anything else, and I want to kill that Teferi next turn, and I can't do that unless I activate Mutavault if they bounce my Tideshaper, and I feel like I don't want to spend all of my time dealing with a simple Planeswalker when I can just Spell Pierce it right now. I know that there is bigger threats to deal with, but I feel like this is a good play. Alright, we drew Merfolk Trickster. That is interesting. So, we could do one of 2 things. We could pass the turn and hold up Trickster, or we could play Suiloon, or even play Kira. We could play Kira, actually. So we got several options now. And activating Mutavault and swinging for 2 is definitely not the option we're going for. So we either hold up Trickster, we play Sweetloon, or we play Kira. And I actually think... well, I want to try Kira out. But untapping with Sweetloon... Alright, let's just go Kira and see what happens. I want to see what this card does for us in the matchup. It's like with all the target, like Teferi, all the minus abilities, like Solitude, Prismatic Ending, March of the Otherworldly Light. I just want to see how it performs against all those different types of targeted effects. I think it'll perform fairly well. And swinging in the air, I don't think that's too much of an advantage, but it does get over Wandering Emperor tokens, so the flying is definitely relevant. So, let's see. Alright, so the question is, okay, so, well, the thing is we can't play Lord and then hold up Trickster because of the Mutavault. We could activate Mutavault and play Lord of Atlantis. Or we could activate Mutavault and hold up Merfolk Trickster. And I don't feel like we're that aggressive yet, and I also am worried about Supreme Verdict at this point. So I feel like I don't want to get completely blown out. So I think what we should do is just save Trickster for their end step to guarantee they're not going to do a Supreme Verdict on us at instant speed or anything. Oh, it is the Wandering Emperor. Okay. Alright, so they're just going to exile probably... Well, yeah, no, we have the Cure out, so they can't do that. So they're going to block. Huh. I feel like this is an opportunity to use Merfolk Trickster. We're just gonna hope they don't have Supreme Verdict right now. Okay, alright. We're in the red zone. I want to make sure my Mutavault doesn't die, so... Eek. Supreme Verdict. Let's just pray they don't have it. We're not in that bad shape if they do have Supreme Verdict, but we're getting a 3-for-1, which doesn't feel the best, considering how good our board state is if we just drop a Lord. We'll be looking at, what, if we drop Lord next turn, we'll be looking at 6 plus 3 plus, yeah, we'll be looking at lethal next turn if they, don't do anything. Which I doubt right now, considering they have 4 cards in hand, so. That is concerning. Are they gonna play Supreme Verdict second main? We'll see. Alright, if they do play Supreme Verdict, I'm going to have to kill that Wandering Emperor. I'm going to activate my Mutavault to kill that thing. I feel... Alright, let's just see what happens here. Okay, so this is not... That was very annoying, but... Okay, we have to kill the Wandering Emperor, else she's going to amass an army of tokens that is just basically unstoppable. So, we have to kill that thing. Yeah. They could have Solitude. Right? But, yeah, we just need to kill the Wandering Emperor. Even if we need to take the risk of them having Solitude in order to make sure that the Wandering Emperor will die. I mean, look, if they have Solitude, exile Lord of Atlantis, trade them with the Mutavault for the Samurai token, that's annoying. But think about it like this. They'll be empty-handed. They have 2 cards in hand right now. So, that wouldn't be a bad exchange either way. So, I feel like... Yeah, okay, they didn't have Solitude. So, we're not in a bad spot. Next turn, we can hopefully play Sweetloon, and that would be a really nice card to untap with. Really good card. Alright, so that Samurai token's a little annoying. They're probably... Oh, it has Vigilance, so they're gonna get in the red zone again, most likely. If they had another Supreme Verdict, I doubt they would play it. They might go for something like the big Teferi, but... Teferi who are Dominaria. Alright, so they are getting in the red zone. So we just take 2. I'm not too concerned about our life total right now. I mean, we're at 16. They've got, what, a 8-turn clock. I'm not too concerned. Alright. So, interesting. We could play Silvergill Adept, reveal Sweetloon, play Sweetloon, but we don't get to activate Mutavault. But on the plus side, we're going to have, if we play Sweetloon, that would give us some, we'd have Indestructible on her, but Indestructible might not even be the most relevant right now. Ooh, Lord of Atlantis. So I could swing for 3 and play Lord of Atlantis, which is still developing my board, further, but do we go for that? Swayloon or Lord of Atlantis? Well, like, untapping with Swayloon is nice. They could easily have a counterspell, though. Or maybe another Wandering It. Or maybe they have Solitude. They could have Solitude, because they're not just going to pass like this and have absolutely nothing. Let's just do it. Let's throw down Swayloon. We have a backup. Whatever happens will happen. Our opponent's at 10. Next turn, if we play Lord of Atlantis, we'll activate a Mutavault. We're swinging for 3, we'll swing for 4, we'll swing with Swayloon. Yeah, that's lethal if we activate Mutavault and stuff. So, yeah. I think counter it is okay. Because we still have a backup. And if they counter Lord of Atlantis... Oh. Okay. I did not expect that. Well, they have fire. So now we know why they had the Triumph. Okay. I don't think they would play ice. Yeah, they're playing the Triumph for the fire and ice. Not just... Okay. So... Okay, they let Swayloon resolve. So, I think they might have... I don't know, something. Maybe another Supreme Verdict. I swear, I'm gonna get wiped out by something like that again. But that's okay. Well, we still got Indestructible on Swayloon, so she'll stick after the Supreme Verdict resolves, and that'll be an okay position for us. We're not attacking here. Alright, will they do anything on our end step? Maybe just make a little Shark Typhoon token? I don't know if Control decks are still playing that right now. Alright, they're paying cost. What could this be? Oh, they're gonna Otawara, okay. You know, actually, considering now they only have 1 card left in hand, we're in a pretty good spot right now. So, yeah, we also have to start making ourselves aware of the fact that Celestial Colonnade can start being activated. Although, as much as I don't like seeing Teferi resolve, we just have to go with it. So they're gonna bounce Lord of Atlantis. Okay, so this isn't, like, the best spot, but we're not in a terrible spot, like, at all. We can play Lord of Atlantis, kill Teferi. I think this board state is fine. The good thing is we're just not completely out of things to do, completely out of gas, because when we have nothing to do, that's when it's a little bit more concerning. Alright, so we draw our own Otawara. Is this more useful as a land, or as, like, with the channel ability? Do we play this down? Do we play this Otawara? I don't know. Well, do we really need the mana? Because it's not going to really benefit us. Alright. Let's attack with Silver Golodep. Kill Teferi Time Raveler, because we still don't have the best clock. See what our opponent does, and then attempt to recast Swayloon. I think that's the right move. I still don't know if I want to play Otawara as a land or not, or hold it up. We could return the Teferi, the token, even, if that's really a threat. We still have 7 turns before the token's lethal. It's not the number one thing I'm concerned about. So, what do we do? Alright, well, we could activate Mutavault and swing for 6. That is, like, when our opponent's at 10, swinging for 6, that's pretty good. You know what? Let's actually play Lord of Atlantis, activate Mutavault, and really get in for some damage, because as much as I don't like Teferi, we could really hurt our... We can get them down to 2, which makes it so they can't shock, and fetching very risky. Alright, are they gonna do something? They could have Otawara, because Teferi... Wait, does Teferi count? I don't think Teferi counts for Otawara. It's legendary creature, right? Alright, you're gonna... Okay, you're tapping down Silver Build-Up. That's not the worst thing. So, we only swing for 4. So Supreme Verdict would be really annoying, but we still have the Mutavault. And I think this 4 damage looks... Does it look better at Teferi or our opponent's face? Swinging in for 8 at our opponent was really tempting. Let's just attack our opponent here. We're gonna let Teferi stick for a turn. Teferi is very annoying, but it's not going to be the worst. So we definitely have lethal next turn. Okay, so he's gonna plus Teferi, which means he could have Supreme Verdict at flash speed, which is scary. Whenever they can cast Supreme Verdict at splash speed, it's very scary, but sometimes we just gotta let it happen. So are they just gonna pass here? Because when they pass, that's when you get really concerned, in my opinion. Okay. Trickster. Alright, do we just activate Mutavault and try attacking them? I think that's the right play. Just... I'm a... Well, if they have Supreme Verdict, activating Mutavault is really bad, actually. So, let's just see what happens here. Because I really don't want to get completely blown out by that. So let's see what they could do. Supreme Verdict? Do I have to deal with another one of those? I really don't want to lose my Mutavault in that situation. Prismatic Ending. Okay, so then they can... That's annoying, because then they can block the Lord of Atlantis with the Samurai token and still survive with only 3 life. So there's nothing we can do about that, I guess. It makes me wish I activated the Mutavault, but they could very well have Supreme Verdict. I'm glad I stuck by my play there. So they're shocking? Wait, did they shock? You have to have something now. Oh, do I ever... should I have killed Teferi? Maybe. You got fire. Okay, well that's... that's annoying. Alright, so... You're gonna block, I assume? Yeah, okay. So... Well... guess we'll just play Swaylun and try to win next turn. Our opponent's empty-handed, that's good. So they tried their hardest to survive. It's always good. Trickster, we can't play at flash speed, and I just hope they don't top deck anything that good. Swaylun doesn't have Indestructible, but let's see what happens here. Okay, they drew something. Doesn't look like Supreme Verdict. It's always good. They have 3 blue. Okay, what is this? What could this be? Memory Deluge. Well, that's really annoying, but I can't do anything about it. What do they need to get, though? What could they get to make it so that they can survive next turn? They are definitely not in a good spot here. Oh, they concede. Alright. That was a pretty fun match, honestly.